Bourbon Barkeep, my name's Curtis. Thank you for tuning in again. We have another heavy hitter trying to close out this year, trying to find whiskey of the year. Do we have a late entry, or do I just have an over-oaked bottle that is gonna hurt? Jim Beam continues to roll out ultra-aged whiskey, ultra-aged bourbon to finish out this year. You had the Infinite that included 22-year, 20-year, 14-year, and a couple other younger ones. Now they're rolling out a Knob Creek 21-year, 100 proof small batch bourbon. I was one of the few, it seems like, to really enjoy the Knob Creek 18. I didn't know that I would be an oak hound, if you will, but I really enjoyed it. Then Knob Creek 12. I was like, for $70, 12 years, is this the best bottle on shelves? Bang for the buck? The answer is yes. I don't think we need to hear any other arguments. 12 years, $70, sometimes $60, sometimes $80. Let's just be in the middle. $70, incredible stuff. So, knowing I like the 18 that did not come out this year, 2025, depending on what year you're watching this in, Knob Creek 21 year colored me intrigued. Was I intimidated? Absolutely. I have not gotten into that old of bourbon before, and the price point kind of freaked me out a little bit. But here we are. I trust Knob Creek. I trust Jim Beam. Let's pour these guys up and see, do we just stick at the $70 mark, or the 18 year? Do we graduate to the 21 year, or do we just stay in high school, maybe where we belong maturity-wise? Well, I forgot how hard it was to pour a rectangle. That didn't go smooth, so happy we had that transition. So we will be spotlighting Knob Creek 21 year. This is going to be Jim Beam's typical mash bill of 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley, 100 proof, coming in at a $250 price tag. This is one of the few times to where we don't know taste, to be fair, to where you're like 21 years old. I mean, I was thinking about doing an A or B type of thing, and there just wasn't anything really relatively close in terms of age. I mean, this is Jim Beam and Knob Creek's oldest bottle they've ever produced. And not that's a shelf stable bottle, but this is the oldest bottle that you're finding on the shelf. Because let's be realistic, Pappy 23 ain't touching your shelf. Without further ado, let's get into some tasting. We're going to spend some time with 21, work our way down, see why did we buy these? That's what we're going to find out. So, batch 1, 21. This is going to be batch 2 of the Knob Creek 18, and this is going to be batch small. So, we got that going for us. Some of us are proof hounds. I do enjoy good proof. I'm a little worried about the 100 proof. We shall see. Some of us are apparently oak hounds, so oak hounds stand up for this episode. Shout out, put a comment down there, or just a like and subscribe. That too. She thick. I'm going to mention oak. I feel like we got to talk about the oak. We got to talk about the wood. That is the point of this, to be fair. Boy, that smells like a furniture store I would be kicked out of. Just walking around licking white oak. Like, sir, did you take bath salts? This is just, it's glorious, rich, dark oak, great brown sugars, maybe even like a baked brown sugar, maybe like a nice pecan pie. There's just that slight nuttiness I'm not picking up. I mean, being Jim Beam, and I'm not doing this blind, you're like, okay, is there peanut, is there not? This one going more into like a rich pecan, great caramel in there. Yeah, great dark fruits, like this nice black cherry. I am kind of going more into more of a blackberry. Yeah, I think there's just this nice kind of just twinge of sour, but nice rich blackberry. I always want to go blackberry pie, but I think I'm going to stick with the pecan pie. Boy, that's glorious. Great allspice, just a hint of cinnamon, maybe a little nutmeg in there. But there's a lot going on, but all of it is just this dark, rich, just tucked behind a beautiful oak. To where I've heard rumors about the 15 just being a little flat, a little over oaked. I've never tried it. I don't know. I didn't feel like the 18 year was over oaked. This guy coming in with a great balance. I do feel like we need to talk about the elephant in the room real quick, is this is 21 years old. If you are not oak guy, that's fine, perfectly fine. This may not be for you. So if you're just turned off by wood, or your wife is, no, you are, in the bottle, not for you. That's fine. Save the 250. Let's see if the guy that likes the oak enjoys it on the palate as well. Good grief. Good grief. Okay. That's a lot. That is robust. That is fantastic oak. A lot. I mean, as it hangs on the palate, which we'll talk about the proof in a second, as it hangs on the palate, this great barrel char, tobacco, cedar, like it brings me into like that kind of cigar box. That black cherry does pull through, which I'm pretty excited about. As it just kind of sat on the palate, I'm like, wow, you're going through these very earthy notes. Is the fruit going to pull forward? I do feel like it does. I do lose a little bit of the blackberry to where I feel like it goes a little more into your Luxardo cherry, that nice black cherry, and probably more plum, I would say. Great vanilla. I do feel like the dark brown sugar kind of died down and it brings me into more of a caramel, which, cool. Wasn't really expecting that one, but boy, that's delicious. It's not above 100 proof. Like, I kind of have to get my mind right to where you're just kind of reviewing what's in front of you. It's 100 proof. You should know what you're getting into. And at 100 proof, it hangs around for a while. Decent finish. That's what it's meant to be. I would be curious why they went with 100. Is it just to stick with what they've been doing? Respectable. But yeah, they stuck with 100. I'm going to go sip 2, then we'll start working our way down. Once again, spotlight, so these guys will be quicker, hopefully. Sip 2 is great. It does have this really initial on the front of the palate, kind of jolt of sweetness that kind of does, still sticking with that kind of black cherry, does kind of remind me of like a nice root beer, this twinge of just kind of like a twang. Is that how you describe root beer? I don't know. But that's sassafras. That just silly sassafras that just tickles you. Love that, just right on the tip of the palate. But there is just an absolute flood of just kind of this deep, rich, sweet, and earth. Predominantly the earth. Mainly coming into those oaks, that tobacco, and that barrel char has a heavy influence. You can kind of see like maybe a chocolate coming out, but overall, that barrel influence is heavy. It's what you would want and expect if you were hunting a 20-year-old bourbon. So I think it achieves what it's trying to do. Now, let's see, if you were Knob Creek 18 guy, do you just wait for next year and maybe they put out another 18? Or if you're 18 guy, you're like, those notes don't sound that good. Now you know, save the 250. So this guy, I believe the SRP was $180. So 100 proof, that $10 a year mark hits that extreme value. Maybe all three. We'll get to that in a second. Knob Creek 18, batch 2 on the nose. I'm sure that these are going to influence each other, but there is a lot more bright sweetness coming out, which is not what you would expect in an 18-year-old bourbon. Vanilla, caramel, a little honey. It does lose the fruit. Man, that cherry and blackberry is wild. It is so nice. The predominant note that's actually kind of pouring out of this at this point is like a creme brulee, this nice toasted sugar, vanilla custard. So there's a deep richness to it. But whether it's being influenced or not, you don't have as dark of nose as what you would have thought. I'd be curious if I would have reversed it. Is there a difference? But let's get on the palate and see. That's delicious. Very, very good. A little more cinnamon spice, maybe a little more pepper coming out actually as it sits on the tongue. This one, I don't think I mentioned cinnamon, pepper, nothing. This one actually has a little tingle to it, which usually first pour has the tingle and then it subsides. It's actually starting to kind of progress, which is interesting. Kind of a little bit of a sharpness, for lack of a better word, but that creme brulee still pulls forward. Once again, could be influenced, but more of a maraschino cherry, definitely not your black cherry. I could see a little more orange zest coming out. Let's do a sip too. Really interesting, kind of going back and forth, especially coming from the 21 to the 18. There definitely is just kind of a light brightness to it. Oak is still there. Obviously, it's definitely getting stepped on from the previous pour. Oak's there. You still have this nice barrel char, this nice kind of smokiness kind of in the background, if you will. That tobacco is still there. I'm still kind of searching, just kind of in the back of my mind. Is there peanut? Is there like a peanut butter? Like, I don't think it's as intense as what your Booker's peanut typically is. I still think I'm kind of going a little more like walnut, or maybe still pecan, if you will. But it's really good. I do feel like that 21, that extra 3 years, is an absolute different animal. And it's really fun to see the side-by-side at the exact same proof what that difference is. If you gravitate more towards those apparently brighter flavors like your maraschino cherry and orange zest, and you still have that nice earthy to kind of tobacco to kind of round it out, this is still a dynamite bottle. There's a girth over there to where you're a 10-year-old boy walking around in the men's showers after a pickup basketball game. You're like, goodness. Now, the bottle that I was actually most intrigued by, I had the 18. I was very curious how they kind of go back and forth, but I will shout it from the mountaintops that Knob Creek 12 is easily one of the favorite bottles that I could readily find available on the shelves. So once again, when you kind of look back, you're like, oh, really enjoy Holiday. They're coming out 6 years. New Riff, 8 years old. But man, I apparently have really searched out Oak, allegedly, because this 12-year, once again, if it's not for you at $70, it doesn't matter. It could be $40 and you won't like it, and that's cool. But for me and my palate, I have really enjoyed this at $70. I just feel like you get a lot of bang for your buck anyways. Let's see how it stacks up to some other monster bottles. Vanilla, cherry. I do feel like, maybe it's me, I do feel like I get just a little more like a mint or like a spearmint on the Knob Creek 12. Maybe it's the rye just kind of poking through. I mean, these are small batches. Maybe it's my batch. Let's see what 18. Oh boy, that was a mistake. Smelling the 18, phenomenal. We've already discussed it. It absolutely muted 12. Oh man. I understand oak isn't everything. Same proof, as you kind of work down these things, they become less fragrant. Oh no. Nice orange zest. It does definitely compare more to the 18 than the 21. I feel like that's captain obvious. But in terms of experience, we're communicating. All right. This one's not going as planned. I'm not going to lie to you. Should I have started with the 12, but then make you all wait for the 21? Do I just give you what you want? I went with give you what you want. All right, to the palate. Man, that palate's good. Yes. Nose was muted. Palate's a little muted. Not going to lie. But man, there's that just great vanilla. This does have the most peanut to it. That is starting to come out. More of a peanut butter, maybe like a honey peanut butter. That's the first time that it's gone into peanut and not this nice pecan. Really enjoy it. That's the first time. Much brighter, orange zest. It's obviously more similar to the 18, but very good. I do think money-wise, I would pick the 12 over the 18. 18 is better, not 2.5, 2.25 times better. It's just not. But it is similar enough to where you get enough of the 12 in the 18 I don't think I said that right. Anyways, that's where I would go. That's a different animal. I understand if you're dyslexic, maybe you get it confused and you're like, great. But that's a different animal. So let's get us some scoring, wrap this puppy up. Scoring wise on the Knob Creek 21, that is a dynamite pour. I can't hold the proof against it. I don't know what it would taste like at 120. Maybe it was just too oak forward, which is a weird thing, but here we are. But senses wise, I'm gonna go 88. It's definitely not Nectar of the Gods. I think it's very well done. It's extremely unique to what is on the whiskey market at this point. So I'm going to go 88. Bang for the buck wise, this is also going to be a tough one. At $250, that is a pretty penny. I don't necessarily expect that $10 a year, let's be over 100 proof, to kind of come into effect with the 21 year. I mean, that's just an absurd time frame to be in a barrel and just be waiting. I think the $180 for 18 is an absurd price tag, to be fair. So I do think you get what you paid for. You're definitely not disappointed. It's the 18 year ramped up on steroids at this point. So I'm definitely not disappointed. I do think that there's just pieces to it where you're like, should it be 110 proof? Do I want to feel just a little bit more of the experience? But that's not the bottle. At 21 years old, there's absolutely nothing like it. I got my money's worth. We're going to go 63. I wouldn't pay too far above it. If you told me it was 275, I really enjoyed the Knob Creek 18, and I want to mature, get 3 years older. Let's do that. So I would punch a little bit above it. There's just nothing else like it. Now, that being said, previous episode, I compared Beacon to the Little Book Edition 2, the Infinite Edition 2, and I sided with Little Book. I went Edition 2 over the Beacon. I thought that Little Book had just a little more going on in terms of the complexity, but there is a richness to that Beacon that is delightful. At $250, if I saw this and I saw Beacon, I would actually pay up for Beacon. It's above it. It's $50 more that I would pay for that Beacon. So take that for what it is. You have your drops coming up, allocated season. Who knows what you're seeing on that table? Prepare yourself. I'm going to go Beacon, but that is extremely good. If the tasting notes sounded good, power to you. Save the $50. Buy the Knob Creek 21. That was fun. Enjoyed it. I don't know if I should have gone the reverse way. Maybe I will a different night. We shall see. Like, subscribe, and Whiskey of the Year coming up soon.